Alright, now I did a wish list recently for Ponytown, but I figured why not just go ahead and do another wish list for another game, Monster Hunter. So what I would love to see soon, either in the current game that's out right now for Monster Hunter, Monster Hunter Rise, Sunbreak, whatever. What I would love to see either in that game or any future game that's coming, whatever is next. Starting with, of course, number one here. One thing that I think I would love to see more than anything is, of course, custom quests. Quests where we, the hunters, can gather different monsters that we've seen so far, maybe monsters that we've captured, and put them together into a singular quest that we can then give to our friends or to our current lobby. And then we can do that and have certain custom conditions and stuff like that. So let's say I want to fight 3 Rathalos in the same quest or something like that. And I could do it. I just got to capture a Rathalos or 2, and then boom, I have the materials and everything needed to actually post the quest itself. I then post the quest, and then when I go to post it, I can set some kind of time limit to it. Maybe I have to make it to where you can't kill them or something like that. And set up all kinds of special conditions like, oh, you can only faint once, or you're not allowed to faint at all, or something like that. Being able to customize these quests and stuff like that, and either send them out online for players to discover themselves, in almost like the SOS type thing that you could do previously, or something like that, to where other players can do these special custom quests, also allowing us to write the quest descriptions and things like that. Just basically make it like it's an actual quest, but give it to the people currently in the lobby, and then we make it ourselves, of course. Now, obviously, the issues with this are the fact that people could possibly exploit this to get more materials or something like that, because then they can just set like, oh, if I, a master rank Magnamalo under 100 minutes or like under 50 minutes or something like that, but you have like 6 feints and stuff like that, and give it like really a lot of conditions where you're most likely going to succeed no matter what or something, and then just do it yourself, and then of course you get to carve it and everything, you get the materials and stuff. So the way to combat that, I guess, would be to the person who creates the quest can't get any materials or anything like that from it. Maybe they only get some kind of Zenny reward or something like that. Maybe they only get points. Maybe it costs a ton of money to create your own quest or something like that. Maybe a ton of Kimura points or whatever points systems you want to use in future games or something like that to do it. And so then it's kind of like buying the parts themselves, but also the parts are randomized, and also you might not succeed at it at the same time. So those could be a couple of ways to kind of fix that so that it's not easily as exploitable. I'm sure there's definitely going to be someone somewhere somehow that's going to manage to exploit this, but I'm sure with a little bit more thought and careful detail and planning with it, it could definitely be set up in such a way that it's not exploitable. But I think it would be tons of fun. There's so many times where I wanted to do specific challenges, but I can't really do them because they're not a quest or anything like that, so I just kind of have to fudge things around to kind of make it a custom quest, and it's a lot of fun whenever we do that. Now, number 2, I would love to see this PALICO mode return that was in Generations. It was so much fun being a PALICO and running around collecting materials and everything like that. Just give us that back, right? I don't really have much else to say about this other than maybe you can kind of change it out a little bit more, maybe give us more to do when we're a PALICO or something like that, rather than just what we had previously. Maybe even an entirely another game mode, but that might be stretching things a bit. But still, give us the ability to become our PALICOs again. I think that was so much fun, and honestly an awesome mechanic, especially if they added it in Sunbreak. We could also be maybe a Palamute or our PALICO, or maybe both. I don't know. I think that could be a cool thing. I'd love to see that return. Now, number 3 here is mini games. Things like these wrestling, this arm wrestling thing that you had in Monster Hunter World, where you could arm wrestle people on the lobby or whatever like that. I would love to see stuff like this in the main hub for Sunbreak or whatever future game we get here in the Monster Hunter series, because these things were a lot of fun, like in between quests or whatever like that. Maybe your friends are going off on a quest and you're waiting for them to come back or something like that so that you can go on a quest together or something like that. In the meantime, why don't you guys play arm wrestling or maybe some other random minigame? Maybe they could even throw in checkers or something super simple, something similar to checkers that's very simple, maybe like tic-tac-toe maybe? I don't know, just like some random quick little mini games that don't take very long to complete or anything like that. Some fun little things you could do in the lobby with each other, I think, would be a blast. Like training, like why can't we train with our friends and stuff like that? Give us a training hub where we can train with our friends and stuff like that. That would be an amazing addition to the game, because then we would have the ability to get used to each other, basically, if that makes sense. For example, if someone is using a gun lance or a bow or a bow gun or something like that, obviously these things shoot and stuff like that, and sometimes they can hit each other, like your teammates and stuff, and it can make them stumble. This can allow all the players to get used to where certain people are positioned and get used to playing with those specific people, because it will help you not hit them as much because you get to train with them. So that's another little thing kind of within the mini games category there. Number 4, and this is something that I wanted for a super long time. I think a lot of people have wanted this for a long time, and it's a Pokemon collab. I would love to see some kind of Pokemon collab, maybe where they reskin one of the monsters or something like that to look like a Charizard for, like, for example, maybe it's a Rathalos or something, but they reskin it to look like a Charizard or something like that for this quest, and you get to do it or something like that, and it's a capture quest, so you have to capture it, and it's kind of like a fun little thing or something. Or at the very least, if Pokemon didn't want us to go around killing their Pokemon or something like that, it could be some kind of repel quest, similar to Zora Magdaros, where you had to hit it so much that it decides to just kind of leave, which I've always thought was kind of funny. But yeah, why can't we just just let me repel or hunt or capture some kind of Charizard or some other Pokemon or something like that, right? I think that could be amazing. They could even give us layered armor for our Palicos. That is each of the main starters, so you can have a Bulbasaur armor set for your Palico, a Squirtle one or something like that, and a Charizard one, or I mean a Charmander one or whatever, and you can have all 3 of those or something, and I think that could be awesome. I think that could be a fun addition. Like it's so perfect. It's such a perfect collab, but they've never done it, and I want them to do it. So number 5 here is some new weapons. I think something like a sickle or some scythes, maybe some form of new weapon like the whips, like maybe some kind of whip weapon, or maybe some fans or something. Sure, we have tons of weapons already, but another weapon really can't hurt, and there's definitely places they can go. Of course, like I said, a scythe would be a good one. I can see why they probably wouldn't want to do a whip, because that might seem a little bit too cruel, even for something like this where you're actually just killing monsters and stuff like that. But something like fans, this is a weapon that, you know, you've seen before. You've seen it in Avatar: The Last Airbender. You've seen it in other animes and shows and stuff like that. A fan, like a dual fans or something like that, could be similar to dual blades, but also have some kind of extra gimmick to it, where maybe you can like fan like something and it shoots off some fire or some other element or something like that, and it can be like a tiny little mini tornado or something that like launches towards the monster or something. So it could be like dual blades, but it has certain mechanics that allow it to have like a ranged ability or something like that too. But yeah, just like I have so many ideas for like these weapons and stuff like that, but I would love to see any of them come to the game. Now, number 6, we have PvP hunting. We had PvP a long time ago in the Monster Hunter series. I never played that one, but I've seen it. I've seen clips of it and stuff like that before, other channels and videos and stuff like that discussing the multiplayer and stuff like that. But I would love to see it return, or just be done in a totally new way. Something like where you have to hunt a monster before the other person hunts their monster or something like that. Or maybe you're both monsters and you're both riding monsters, like the wyvern riding that we have in Sunbreak. Maybe we're both riding a monster that we've captured in a previous quest or something like that, and we're fighting each other, and whoever gets yeeted off their monster first is the loser, right? That could be a fun thing. Or maybe if you get yeeted off, you can still get back on through some other kind of mechanic or something. There's so much potential with this that it's insane that they've never done it. So monster versus monster, maybe where you're controlling a monster somehow, and like, I don't know how you would be doing that, but maybe you're controlling a monster somehow and you're going against like 3 other hunters or something like that, and the hunters have to kill you before you kill all of them 3 times or something like that, right? Just something like that. There's so many cool things they can do with this. I could see why they wouldn't do that last one, but definitely monster versus monster where we're wyvern riding these things. Definitely let us do that. I don't know why they just don't do that, and it's so perfect. It would make the game so much better if they do it. Anyway, number 7 here, which is the last one I have written here, is an airship barricade to fend off some kind of large monster, like some kind of like one of these huge giant monsters like Zora Magdaros or whatever like that, right? Where, you know, it's kind of like one of those repel quests where you're trying to keep it from destroying this wall or whatever like that. In Sunbreak and Rise, we have, of course, the Rampage, where you have to stop them from hitting the walls or whatever, so we have something similar to that. And then again, with Zora Magdaros and World, we had them where we're trying to repel it before it can destroy the walls or whatever like that. It could be very similar to that, but we're in an airship, and it's some kind of flying monster, and we have to run across the airship and make certain things like make sure certain things don't break on the airship or something like that, so we can repair parts of it if stuff gets broken, but that takes time. And it could be a very fun cooperative adventure where you're just on this airship shooting at this monster and doing things like that to repel this monster or kill it or something like that, so you can reach your destination. This could be such a fun little thing that you can do, and again, it could just be some special event like the Zora Magdaros thing, where it's, you know, maybe it's part of the main story, or maybe it's just some fun quest that you can do. So yeah, those are 7 things here. Which one of these 7 things is your favorite? And let me know in the comments below. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did and I didn't, then please do subscribe, like, share, do all those wonderful things like that. Because when you do wonderful things like that, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, but you also get to become wonderful yourself. And I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.